planned in that project. So we had to shift gears and do different kinds of treatments that were less useful. When we do truck biomass, it takes us 3 hours one way, and that's if the nearest plant even has capacity for that biomass. Excuse me. There are so few biomass utilization projects in the state that when there's a mega fire, they get full up of material and they actually won't take additional material. So then you have nowhere to take your biomass. So I'm very excited that we are finally at a place where we will have one of these projects, excuse me again. Sorry, one of these projects in Yuba County and in Dobbins. So that will support all of our forest health work in our upper watershed and in Yuba County from here on out. So with that, I would like to introduce Kathy LeBlanc with Kemptonville Community Partners to tell you more about this project.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Kathy LeBlanc of Kemptonville Community Partnership and its subsidiary, the Forest Biomass Business Center. I am thrilled to be standing in front of you today regarding a project that is critical for Kemptonville community, North Yuba watershed, and to the work many of our supporters are doing to increase forage management and restoration efforts. Soon I will introduce João Soares and Andrew Grant of Ingman Kemptonville Green Energy. Next slide. Oh, that was the first slide. Sorry. Am I in charge of slides?
You are.
Ah, good to know. Okay. Well, that's the beautiful first slide that was supposed to be with the introduction. I apologize. Kemptonville Community Partnership has been fortunate to have strong support that is as deep as it is wide. First, we would like to acknowledge Yuba Water Agency's involvement and strong belief in this project since its inception. We have many supporters in the room and on Zoom, and also those that sent in letters to champion our effort. You honor us by coming here today. Please stand up as we all share in the strength of the project team to construct and operate the Ingman Kemptonville Green Energy Project. You came to support our project today, please stand up. Thank you. This energy facility will utilize forestry waste from the surrounding North Yuba watershed to generate 5 megawatts of green energy. It will be built with state-of-the-art technology, including low emission controls and zero waste discharge, and create good-paying local jobs with benefits for decades to come. It has the added potential for co-located business to also utilize forest biomass. 3 megawatts will be purchased by PG&E and sent to the grid through the state's biomass program with a power purchase agreement for 20 years at a guaranteed fixed price. The remaining electricity will be used in operation and service any potential co-located business, such as a sawmill, a biochar production, or any business that uses heat or electricity. The project will be located on Marysville Road outside of Dobbins, approximately 1 mile south of Oregon Hill Road, just a few miles south of Bullard's Bar Dam. You can see New Bullard's Bar Reservoir on this map. The green circle in the center locates the Ingman Kemptonville Green Energy Project. The dark gray that extends into Sierra County is the perimeter of the North Yuba Forest Partnership project area. Both Kemptonville Community Partnership and Yuba Water Agency are members of the North Yuba Forest Partnership, a diverse group of 9 organizations passionate about forest health and the resilience of the North Yuba watershed. Together, the partners are working on an unprecedented scale to collaboratively analyze and implement forest restoration across 275,000 acres of watershed. This work has already begun and will continue for decades. The dotted line surrounding it indicates a radius of 30 miles from the facility, which is where most of the feedstock will be derived. We've already received interest to extend the feedstock agreements to the U.S. Forest Service, private landowners, and PG&E contractors, saving on haul distances. Community members would also be welcome to bring in green waste to help fuel this facility. Our communities have an extra privilege to protect the watershed that feeds New Bullards Bar Reservoir. This watershed has been identified by the federal government as one of the top 10 priority forests in the country. It is also one of the last remaining green watersheds in California, meaning it is untouched by catastrophic wildfire. Looking at the fire severity map on the right, we need to work strategically and with haste to keep it that way. There is no doubt this bioenergy project will benefit our area. Having the plant close to the source will increase the pace and scale of this much-needed forest restoration work. The project has been identified as the missing link to help ensure that the work and investments being made in the North Yuba watershed are realized. This project will reduce current and future costs while supporting a wide array of local jobs. Our watershed health will be more resilient to catastrophic wildfire. This community-sized bioenergy plant will run 24/7, allowing local folks the opportunity for 12 to 16 livable wage jobs with benefits, with any co-located businesses bringing even more opportunity and the ability to utilize even more forestry waste. Our project offers the most cost-effective delivery point for removal of forest waste and biomass fuels from the Yuba watershed. As a partner to the North Yuba Forest Partnership, our operating bioenergy plant will receive and utilize forest biomass feedstock generated from the partnership's forest management and restoration projects effort. Currently, that feedstock has to travel to Redding or Plumas or even farther, Honey Lake, slowing down the process of this vital work by adding transportation time and costs and taking jobs away from Yuba County. Having the plant close to the source will increase the pace and scale of this much needed forest restoration work. Simply said, these cost savings will allow for expedited treatments and additional work to be done in the watershed. This presentation has revealed the great benefits this project brings to Yuba County. We and our supporters have shared our confidence that our developer and operator of choice, Ingman-Cantonville Green Energy, will, with your help, construct this long-awaited project and bring it online. We would now like to introduce Ingman-Cantonville Green Energy's João Soares and Biomass Power Corp partners in Ingman-Cantonville Green Energy, Andrew Grant, who will own and operate the project to continue our story.
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm John Soares. I'm one of the shareholders of Angeman Energy and CO. Angeman started 20 years ago by supplying biomass boilers and power plants to Brazil and agricultural and forest business using modern technology. We now serve projects throughout the Americas and Europe and South America and have established one office in Sacramento. Angeman is committed to business in California and appreciate the support of Yuba Water Agency in making the fire hazard removal project possible. Angeman has partnered with Biomass Power Corporation and formed Angeman-Cantonville Green Energy LP to build and operate this facility on FBBC Cantonville site.
Thank you, Joao. I'm Andrew Grant. I started designing and building biomass power plants for Babcock and Wilcox in 1985, twin 25 megawatt forestry waste plants in Maine. I was responsible for B&W for a dozen waste fuel power plants. All were built on time, on budget, and met their performance guarantees. For the last 20 years, I have been a biomass consultant and troubleshooter for all types of biomass conversion, combustion power plants like this one, gasification for jet fuel, pyrolysis, and biochar. I first worked with Engelmann, Joao Soares, when I did the feasibility study for their Sun Valley rice project at Arbuckle. And I have worked with Joao Soares ever since. My firm, Biomass Power Corp, will work closely with Engerman to supervise local engineering and construction contractors and to manage our various contracts throughout the plant's operations. My colleague, Jason Arnoff, who is over here, has moved to Sacramento permanently to have our regional office, and he will continue to manage the fuel contracts and other contracts throughout the life of the project. Next slide, please. Back to you, Joel.
Yeah, Engerman succeeds by using our own engineering and craftsmen to perform key construction tasks, working with our local engineering and construction firms. We perform power plant startup and operations ourselves using our own engineers and craftsmen. This gives us, our design and manufacturing staff, the opportunity to work directly with our customers and to use this experience to design and build the best compact biomass boilers in the world. Engerman will continue to operate and maintain the plant throughout the life.
Thank you, Joe. And quite frankly, I want to emphasize what Joe just said about their own engineers and craftsmen being on the site, helping build the plant and helping to start it. That is invaluable rather than bringing in a third party. I learned this at Babcock & Wilcox the hard way. So that's a huge value added. My firm is responsible for much of the contract documents required to perform the construction and operation of the plant and to manage the engineering construction contractors. Because we have extensive hands-on experience of handling all sorts of biomass waste fuels and converting all types of biomass, we have direct responsibility for the fuel yard at Dobbins. I'm a fuel chemist by background. An immediate task is to arrange the bank loan to complement the Yuba-Water Agency's project financing. Can we have the next slide, please?
Previous was some projects that Engerman has been completed. The previous slide. Some power plants like 3, 5, and 40 megawatts that are up and running. And here in this case, this is the first case Engerman in US that we are building in Sun Valley in Arbuckle City. This is the one power plant for rice hulls that it was, we came for this project with the troubles that the customer Sun Valley was facing through the rice hulls disposable problems, that was very expensive and they need to do the transportation of more than 3,000 trucks a year. And now with the power plants on site, they don't need anymore to waste the rice hulls. We are burning, generating power and selling to PG&E and producing cheap, clean power. And the second phase of this project, they're gonna change their diesel trucks for EV trucks, making more cleaner the project.
Thank you.
Next slide, please.
Okay, we as a developer, we signed a development agreement and site control agreement with CCP, Forest Biomass Business Center, at the beginning of this year. And since then, we've been hard at work. We have secured the biomass power purchase agreement, of course, that CCP started. We have completed the interconnection studies at PG&E, and an interconnection agreement is due to be signed this month. We have done extensive site assessments and civil engineering studies. We don't take site construction on an undeveloped site lightly. We have got the air permit application in and well underway. The equipment has been defined with firm costs because it's essentially the same equipment as Engerman is installing at Sun Valley Rice, the same size boiler, the same turbine generator. And we have, most importantly, selected our first construction contractors who are indeed ready to start work. Next slide, please. Schedule is all important to a project like this. This shows the construction work starting this November. Gives us just nice time to finish off arrangements with banks. And then to complete the project, COD is commercial operation date, April 2026. Commercial operations defined as going into service and are billing PG&E every month for the power we sell to. That's commercial operation. Cash flow starts then. Until that point, you're really in a construction situation. So that's a date we can easily achieve due to the guaranteed delivery dates of the major equipment. The next slide, please. We need the
How do
video.
we make this one work?
Just play on the bottom left. Yeah. So, gentlemen, this is one project that Engelmann has been did. You know, this is one 3D view that you can see a very compact boiler system, turbine, condensers, and the equipment for emissions control. It's a very compact project, you know, and we have on a very good cost, most efficient cost. And we can generate the 5 megawatts. This is pretty much similar what we are doing in Sun Valley projects. It's same boilers, same turbine, same system of dry coolers to avoid water consumption in the power plant. So this is one state of the art actually for this small scale power plants that we are bringing to California, and we are committed to burn more wood waste in our projects here in California.
Could we have the next slide?
As the Yuba Water Agency Board of Directors, you've supported this work since the beginning, when Yuba Water Agency funded a feasibility study for a potential Yuba foothill biomass to energy plant. To me, at that time, it sounded like a good solution for both the overstocked forest, threatening great potential for wildfire, and the reality of very few high-quality foothill jobs. The board of Camptonville Community Partnership and the community agreed. We developed the Forest Biomass Business Center board to help carry this project. In 2020, with your support, Camptonville Community Partnership began to secure significant grant funding, including a $4.99 million grant from the California Energy Commission, which pushed this project into high gear. Today, we need your help to cross the finish line and bring this vital project to life, working to keep the North Yuba watershed healthy, more fire resistant, and thriving in a dynamic foothill economy. In summary, Camptonville Community Partnership commits to providing $4.48 million to the project for construction and equipment. Our partner, Ingman Camptonville Green Energy, commits to $3 million to construct and operate the project. We're asking Yuba Water Agency to continue the investment with an $8.33 million, 3% interest loan to Ingman Camptonville Green Energy and a $7 million grant to Camptonville Community Partnership. Doing so will go a long way to increase the pace and scale of the work in our watershed and bring good jobs to Yuba County.
Thank you, Kathy. This slide summarizes the project costs, and my partner Joe and I will be happy to answer any questions you have on the costs. The actual construction cost is about $28 million. You'll be glad to know we put aside $2 million in cash as a working reserve, so whatever happens, we might get interrupted by PG&E one day, who knows. We'll have the cash in hand to continue the operation and not be shut down. And the funding for the financing is on the right-hand side of the column. At this point, though, I want to address the key cost, which is the cost of trucking the fuel. Usually, for plants of this sort, we're used to 25 megawatt plants in California, like at Woodland and at Rio Bravo Rockland. The cost of trucking the fuel is a very large proportion of the operating cost of the plant. This plant, Camptonville, Dobbins, has the benefit of being the right size. It's quite small. It only uses 50,000 tons a year of fuel, and it's within a few miles of most of the fuel. So compared with round trip, I would count it as round trips per day. If you operate a trucking firm, you want to know how many trips your trucking driver can make in that day. You've got to pay for the truck. You've got to pay for the driver. The more trips he does a day, the cheaper it is to deliver the fuel. So pulling in fuel from within 30 miles, Camptonville to Dobbins, we can get 5 or 6 truck trips a day. Going to Rio Bravo Rockland on the outskirts of Sacramento, only 2 or 3 trips a day. DT at Woodland, only 2 trips a day. Honey Lake and back, 1 trick a day. That translates to dollars. So our whole goal here for the 40-year life of the plant is to serve the local area, take in fuel cost effectively, and get rid of it into green power. Next slide, please.
We've just shared how Canterville Community Partnership has partnered with Ingman Canterville Green Energy to develop this project to the point of construction. At this time, we'd like to invite our supporters that are here today to say a few words. Please come up.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here today. My name is Clay Davis. I am currently the tribal liaison of the Plumas National Forest. I've been working on the Plumas National Forest since 2015 as a vegetation management planner, planning fuels reduction, forest health, insect and disease, all the ways to reduce the amount of biomass on the forest, to try and create more sustainable, more resilient forests. And all of those jobs require removing vast amounts of biomass from the forest. And at this point, the amounts we have to deal with and the small amount of this type of infrastructure that currently is, we end up burning the biomass at the landing, which, I mean, it works, you know what I'm saying? We keep getting the job done, but we're really excited about projects like this because like they just said to you, the biomass doesn't have a whole lot of economic value. And so once you haul it to a certain point, you've spent out the value. But to have something right in the Dobbins area would have a direct impact on that west slope part of the Plumas National Forest. We're close enough that we could have biomass hauled and people could make a living, make a good living. So I'm just here to lend my support as a neighbor and as excited about the potentials of this project. Thanks.
Good morning. My name is Carson Clark, and I am the California Program Forestry Supervisor with the National Forest Foundation. The NFF is a national nonprofit chartered by Congress to be the official implementation partner of the United States Forest Service. Our focus on the Tahoe National Forest is to reduce hazardous and overstocked vegetation across the North Yuba landscape in order to promote healthier forests, more resilient to wildfire, pathogens, and insects. Not only are we responsible for the thinning of this hazardous vegetation, but we're also responsible for the transport of that material to an end-use facility. The cost to transport this material out of the landscape is one of the highest costs that we incur across our project areas. The facility that CCP is proposing would reduce transportation time and therefore transportation cost by almost 40% when compared to the next closest wood processing facility. These cost savings would be utilized to treat more acres across the landscape, furthering our ability to reduce catastrophic wildfire across the communities of the North Yuba landscape. Thank you.
Morning, board members. My name is Phil Saxa. I serve as co-founder and chief scientist of Blue Forest. Blue Forest is a nonprofit conservation finance organization. You all have invested in 2 of our forest resilience bonds in the Yuba watershed, the Yuba 1 FRB, which closed last year, was launched in 2018, and the second forest resilience bond, which was launched in 2021 with the board's investment of $6 million into that second project. Those projects have catalyzed the initial creation of the North Yuba Forest Partnership in the first place, which came together in 2019 after your initial investment in watershed health. And is because of that and because of that partnership that we were able to accept the multiple hundreds of millions of dollars coming down into this landscape through the wildfire crisis strategy and the Forest Service. I was in a meeting with the utility in Southern California last week, and they said, we want to follow Yuba Water's example. We want to follow what they are doing in their watershed and do it in our watershed, which happens to be the Santa Ana watershed in Southern California. So we see this as Blue Forest and through really the entire North Yuba Forest Partnership as the next stage of investment for forest and watershed health and protecting water supply in Yuba Water. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Chris Dallas. I'm the area representative for the Sierra Nevada Conservancy, a state agency charged with supporting the economic, environmental, and social welfare of the region. This project addresses all of those items. I won't repeat all the arguments that have been made for the need to get biomass out of the forest and how this project is located, within the forest to reduce the costs. SNC has supported this project for over 10 years, basically from inception of the project. We provided a $70,000 grant for feasibility study back in 2014. In 2019, we provided a $250,000 grant for engineering design. Most recently, last year, we awarded a $2 million grant to pay for the steam turbine generator for this plant. That agreement has been executed. It's just awaiting for the funding package to be all together so that we know if we're paying $2 million for a generator, that there's going to be a place to put it. And so hopefully this is the threshold that we're looking for to make this project a reality. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm here to offer my support for the CCP, and I don't mean a political party in China. My name's Joe Griggs. I'm one of the principals of Robinson Enterprises in Nevada City, California. We're a pretty highly recognized logging and trucking company. We've been producing and transporting biomass in and out of the forest since the late 1980s, but not on a regular basis. We've hauled biomass to local sawmills and also standalone, pretty large scale biomass plants, some of which have been noted today on a presentation. So I'm representing our company, Robinson Enterprises, as well as I'm a board member of the Associated California Loggers, and that is an association of family-owned businesses in California, some 400 trucking and logging and forest management related companies that belong to ACL. These are the people that do the work in the forest and do the transportation of these materials out of the forest. So you've heard a lot about the scale of the work that needs to be done and the money that's been allocated to the Yuba watershed. If the plant were in operation today, our company works about 140 days of the year. We don't get to work in the forest in the wintertime. Sometimes winter's pretty long. So I figure about 140 working days of the year for in the forest activities. And if we put our chipping side together for 140 days, hauling 10 loads a day to this power plant, we would provide it with 1/2 of the 40,000 tons that it needs. So I want to reassure you that the infrastructure and the knowledge and the financing is available in the forest products industry to provide the feedstock for a plant like this and even much larger ones. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions or, okay.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Madison Thompson, and I'm here representing the Chai Company and Applied Forest Management. We're a small family-owned timber company and forestry consulting business. We've been in Yuba County for a very long time. I think we started owning property in Yuba County in the 1940s. And I do a lot of work in the Yuba watershed, not just on Chai Company's fee lands, but on a lot of these collaborative landscape projects that everyone's been talking about. I provide forestry services to Yuba Water Agency and assist with management of a lot of their watershed resilience program grants, as well as I provide forestry services to Camdenville Community Partnership in their effort to get this plant site developed and ready to be operational. There are a lot of these small scale 3 to 5 megawatt power plants that have been planned in California for decades at this point. And, so many of them are just, floundering and not getting anywhere. And, the one thing I can say for this project is, the plant's not built yet, but there's a whole heck of a lot of resiliency and gumption and gut in this room to push this thing forward. The Yuba County and the collaborative efforts that we've been able to put together here for forestry and watershed health I personally feel they're kind of unparalleled compared to anywhere else in the region. And in order for us to really scale up and keep this great work moving forward that we've already been able to start on, we need a local outlet for woody biomass. I can't tell you how many thousands of acres we've treated over the last handful of years, and shipping loads of chips 6 to 8 hours round trip to Reading when we could have a facility in our backyard. We got to make this work. Thank you for your time.
Hello, my name is Nick Knipe. I'm the Timber Division Manager for Silla Brothers Incorporated. We're loggers and landowners. I am a registered professional forester and just wanted to voice my support for this project. We lost a lot of land, just like a lot of other folks did in that North Complex specifically. And we've been going through the process of getting those fuels off the landscape, and it's considerably difficult. And it's very, very expensive. And the fuel loading that I see, I'll speak just for our company on Silla Brother Inc. lands, that we have no outlet for right now, or that it's due to economic feasibility, is scary. This power plant could be very beneficial in helping the small landowners find outlets and treat landscapes in ways that we can't right now. And I just hope you guys really consider this and approve this project, and thank you.
We do have a virtual online comment.
No, we have an online.
This is part of the presentation.
Okay.
Kat Perlman, you should be able to unmute.
Excellent. Great. Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can.
Great. Excellent. Thank you. My name is Kat Perlman, and I am the Forest Health Program Manager at Circle, the South Yuba River Citizens League in Nevada City. We are one of the 9 partners on the North Yuba Forest Partnership as well. And we've worked very closely with the Camdenville Community Partnership and other partners in bringing that partnership and in bringing the North Yuba Landscape Resilience Project to life over the past several years. And since I joined Circle in 2021, I've been learning continuously about the need for this specific facility and this specific project on our landscape. And really just learning and understanding the immense efforts that the CCP has put forth in bringing this project forward. I've also seen in-depth and heard in-depth conversations happening really amongst our partners on the North Yuba and other colleagues and stakeholders across the region and across the Sierras working on forest restoration and management. I've heard over and over again about how innovative and how kind of brave and bold the approach on the North Yuba landscape has been, echoing what Madison said just a moment ago. For the North Yuba Partnership, and including components of our planning process, our financing structure, as Phil was mentioning, our actual approach to forest treatment as well. So this innovation, I think, is kind of a point of pride on the North Yuba, and I think that this facility, this Forest Biomass Business Center, really falls kind of right in line with our legacy of innovation in this way, with this kind of trailblazing approach in our pursuit, really, of forest and community resilience on all fronts. So I think the relationship of our partners has really added to this innovation as well, and really none more so than CCP, which is, you know, a small partnership, small group, but incredibly mighty partner who has brought this facility project forward relentlessly since I've been involved and since long before. And I've heard widely acknowledged just how important and how crucial these facilities are, as everyone else has been saying, and will be for the indefinite future. So I just want to speak really to the power and the, you know, how amazing it is that a partnership like CCP has been able to bring this forward as much as they have, and recognize that, you know, the implementation and the realization of this project coming to fruition is really amazing, and is definitely, as I mentioned, a point of pride for our partnership and for beyond. So yeah, thank you for your time, and thank you for considering this project.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
I have a question. How many truckloads, well, you know, the big trucks, will the plant be able to take per year?
Who can answer that question in the room?
Right, yeah, it's about 24 tons on a truckload maximum, getting illegal, which we don't want to do. So yeah, it's a couple of thousand truckloads a year, and we'll be able to store at least 3 months worth of fuel on the site because of the winter weather. We've got it up before.
Thank you.
So,
If I may?
I guess I wanted to clarify some stuff. So Ingman is a for-profit power company out of Brazil. Campton Community, of course, is a local nonprofit. Ingman Camptonville, the partnership that we're granting the money to, is a nonprofit. Is that partnership?
No, it is not a nonprofit.
Okay.
It is the business that will own, operate, and construct the bioenergy facility.
Okay, so if it does, and everything co-locates, PG&E prices skyrocket, and so there's money that is being made from this biomass, which I know is very unlikely, but if somehow those things happen, where would those profits go to then?
I will let João speak to that, please.
Well, it's a very good question. Appreciate it. We have a 20-year contract with PG&E to sell them power at a fixed price. The price has not varied for 20 years, and that was imposed on us, on PG, by the state PUC. So without going to the state PUC and probably the state assembly, we can't change that price.
Sure, but you're going to have 2 extra megawatts, a bunch of businesses co-locate, you sell it to them at market rate, everything goes wonderful. What happens with the profits?
Okay, we'll hire more people to run a sawmill or bring more fuel in. Yeah, that's right. You're absolutely right. It's a business. We'll run it as a business. If we have to make more power and sell more steam to somebody, we'll charge them for it and make some money out. Absolutely.
I also want to add that what Cantonville Community Partnership, the nonprofit, gets from this is the lease. We will get lease payments monthly, and those payments will go into running the nonprofit and doing the work that we do for healthy families and healthy communities in the Yuba foothills.
Okay, and so is that lease something that is going to slide that, again, hypothetically there were profits, then that lease can be increased so those profits would flow into the community and not to Brazil?
Yes.
Angeman is U.S. company. It's not more Brazil. It's only U.S. that we are here.
Yes.
Okay. So the 12 to 15 people that are going to be employed, is that including people out of Sacramento, or is that going to be those 12 to 15 is really just local in that Dobbins-Camptonville area?
It is local.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right.
To the chair.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank Kathy LeBlanc and the many scars on her head now after pursuing this. We both didn't think we'd see this in a lifetime, and the water agency staff for the cooperation that it took to put this whole project together with the many partners that we have. And I think you set the bar pretty high for biomass plant construction, and probably going to be one of the few successful ones in the state of California. I'd like to thank you for all the effort, and it goes to prove that working together toward common goals has a better result than the Hatfields and McCoys. So,
thank you, Andy.
So I now have another follow-up question. When you talk about those employees, are you talking about, is that including the truck drivers? They're going to be hauling in there? So my understanding is you're going to be keeping 2,000 trips a year out of town, coming through town and congesting town even further. You're going to keep them up in the hills. And so that's a far more employment for Yuba County is the trucking that'll be kept right up there in the Dobbins area. That was my other
Can I add to that real quick?
Yeah.
So, Chairman Messick, what I want to emphasize is that not only is this creating local jobs, but is doing it by taking a waste product that we currently burn, as Clay Davis mentioned, we currently burn in the forest. That works. He said, as the Plumas National Forest representative, he said, that works. But so does this. In addition, we'll be creating all those jobs because we're taking this waste stream and turning it into a product, energy. And hopefully other businesses adjacent will benefit as well. But we're basically taking a waste stream and creating jobs out of that. That's something we need to emphasize.
And far more opportunity to co-locate a sawmill, chip, pellet mill, whatever. So, any questions?
If I can just clarify some more. So the building, the construction, the site is going to be owned by Camdenville Partnership.
Site is.
And so we're giving you the $7 million and the $8.3 million loan. That's going to you.
The $8.3 million loan will go to Ingman Campbellville Green Energy.
Okay.
$7 million grant will go to Campbellville Community Partnership.
Okay. And then at the end of the 20 years, you will own everything.
At the end of the 20 years, we own the site. We will continue to own the site. The power purchase agreement is good for 20 years. We do not have plans. Campbellville Community Partnership is our mission is rural people working together for safe, sustainable, and healthy community. We have never run a power plant nor owned a power plant before this. So we are not the best ones to keep it going. Ingman Campbellville Green Energy is.
Yeah, but this is a very interesting point, because like, for example, PG&E actually, they offer the higher rates for the biomass for 3 megawatts, but from my point of view, like in 3 to 5 years, all others like Pioneer, the CCAs, they will be gonna pay more than PG&E, So after 20 years, Katie has the option, to if she wants to continue with the power plant with another PPA with, for example, Pioneer or any other CCA, they can do it. Benjamin can support it, but our agreement is for the 20 years with the CCP, and after that, the plant continues burning and selling power not to PG&E, but for another off-taker like Pioneer and any other CCAs that is coming out right now in the market.
Yeah, I have a follow-up question to that now. How long do your plants last? Well, I mean, it's indefinitely? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously have to replace parts and things.
Power plants do last a long, long time. But at B&W, we moved one from Indiana. It was built in 1949, moved the whole thing to Florida, rebuilt it, and it was running until 2 years ago. So 40 years is a very reasonable expectation. It's a bit like George Washington's axe. Part of our operating budget is to replace things regularly.
Yeah.
So after 40 years, a lot of the piping has been modernized and that sort of thing, but they do last 40 years.
You can do overhauls, every 30 years you can improve. And we have here in California, for example, the Ada power plants that has been built in 1983 and is still in operation right now.
So this is something that could be indefinitely in Yuba County and Dobbins.
Yeah.
So it's not because I've noticed other ones, they built one on Feather River Boulevard and then, I don't know, 20 years later, they removed it. So.
No, the plant is for time life. What they need just change the uptake, that probably is not going to be.
Yeah. All right. Charlie, do you have a question?
I see that there's an $8 million loan from a bank. Is that you're on the hook for that and not the nonprofit?
ECGE will take out the bank loan. You're correct, and we'll be on the hook for the bank loan. Yeah.
Because my curiosity is, if you're selling something at a fixed product for 20 years, and I remember seeing your costs, an earlier thing, so much for a dozer operator, so much for this and that. And how you were able to project that out 20 years with a fixed on the other side. I was intrigued that you had to have some expertise in gambling your bank account under those circumstances.
That's a very good point. Director Matthews, I just want to be clear with this board that this board has not ever received any information from Ingeman until this point in time. We have had past presentations from the Camptonville Community Partners with a previous developer. So any pro forma data or any hourly rate data that you have seen in the past was not from Ingeman. This is the first presentation that we have formally received from Ingeman. Camptonville Community Partners switched developers from a previous developer to Ingeman in late 2023. And the staff from Yuba Water Agency has absolutely supported the switch because of the history that Ingeman brings in actually constructing plants throughout the world, constructing one nearby here in Arbuckle that's very similar, and frankly, Andrew's resume with Babcock and Wilcox for the past 40 years. So I just wanted to be clear that any past presentation you've seen related to numbers and finances was a previous developer, not Ingeman.
So I'm assuming what you're saying is your staff has looked over the feasibility of the way they're presented it, plus their history to make sure that they were going to have this $8 million construction loan from the bank.
Yeah, absolutely correct, Director Matthews. We have seen a few different versions of potential financing plans and worked with Ingeman and Camptonville to come up with the current plan that's in front of you today. And I'll kind of throw Curtis under the bus. Curtis and I have been working closely.
So is the funding we're approving today, both the $8 million that is in the bank realm and our grant tied together so that one won't happen without the other?
Yes, that would be the plan. Is they're conditional on each other. And if you want more detail, we could bring the slide up that shows all of the funding sources, just to be clear, because this is a major step this board's taking today when it both a grant and a loan. And I want you to completely understand what you're contemplating and potentially voting on.
Yeah, all I wanted to have the understanding that they were tied together, so we wouldn't be giving a grant and then the project wouldn't go forward because they didn't get a bank loan.
They're all conditional on each other. So if they don't get the bank loan, we're not going to have our grant and loan stranded. Correct.
That's all that clarification I need. Thank you.
Could I add to that, Willie?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I didn't mention it in my introduction, but previously, we've been talking about this biomass hurdle for many years. And so previous to Camptonville joining with Ingeman, we actually contracted Wes Yost to do a white paper on the status of biomass technology in the United States, actually in the world. And they did a lot of evaluations of all of the companies that are actually operating in California and the US and ranked sort of the commercialization and experience of all of the companies in the country. And Ingeman was in the top 2. So I just wanted to add that.
Thank you.
Through the chair.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just a couple comments. So first, I want to say I appreciate the questions that my fellow board members have been asking this morning. I appreciate the due diligence that staff has put into researching this and bringing this before us. It's certainly an important project for many reasons, and we've heard about some of them this morning. Forest and watershed resiliency, which is really our mission and how this relates to what the Yuba Water Agency is doing. We've also heard about economic opportunity in various ways, how this will support that. Clean energy, air quality, because we'll hopefully be preventing this from burning out in the forest, as well as obviously the air quality impacts of the trucking that has to occur without this. So I'm really excited that the Water Agency's been a partner in this project in the past, and that we have an opportunity to continue to be a partner and to help it get across the finish line. So thank you to CCP for all your continued due diligence on this, all the other partners involved, and I'm very excited about it.
Is that a motion?
Through the chair, I've got a quick question. Just to kind of clear up in my head the capacity. From what I understand, this facility would handle at least 50% of what you're creating right now, or is that even in the ballpark? And if necessary, are these type of plants even expandable, or do you just build another one?
This plant will process about 40 bone-dry tons. There is 40,000, sorry. There is much more than that in the forest. There is opportunity for other bioenergy plants to potentially be built. Getting this plant up and running not only helps the North Yuba Forest partnership, helps Yuba Water Agency and the watershed health, but it also shows the rest of the state of California that this can be done. It is very important. There is potential for other bioenergy plants to be built. But at this time, we're going to get this one done.
Through the chair, just one more additional comment that I forgot I wanted to say. I really appreciated the letters of support in the board packet, as well as the folks coming and speaking in support. I don't think it's very often since I've been on this board that we've had that level of support from such a broad group of folks in the state on an item that we're considering. So that was greatly appreciated.
Willie?
So before there's a motion made, I just want to remind the board and the public how this is tied to the agency's mission. I think it's pretty obvious that it's helpful for the community and the economy and many other benefits, job creation and all that. The 1959 Agency Act allows the water agency or incentivizes the water agency to protect the watershed. And in 1959, who would have known that the watersheds would be in such dire shape? We have, every year I can give you an example of devastating catastrophic wildfires throughout adjacent watersheds. Today, I could talk about the 400,000 plus acre watershed in Butte and Tehama County, the Park Fire that's burning. What we characterize as staff as protection of the watershed, one of the issues is the protection of the watershed from catastrophic wildfire. I just read this morning that Placer County Water Agency has been working on the French Meadows project in their watershed for 5 or 6 years now. They're launching the Long Canyon project. Placer County Water Agency, fortunately for us, but unfortunately for them, are the sister agency to Yuba County Water Agency that we can point to and say, they have experienced catastrophic wildfire. They have experienced the costs of sediment and woody debris in their reservoirs. And primarily for the Yuba Water Agency, that is our mission, is to protect or prevent those types of impacts to our operations. These additional benefits, job creation, protecting the public, just community enrichment and development, those are all collateral benefits that are wonderful for this county. But the primary mission of the agency is to protect the watershed. And that's what this biomass plant will do by allowing us to treat even more acres than we've been treating on an average annual basis. I just wanted to be very clear for the board and the general public to understand that's how this project is connected to the agency's mission.
John, I have.
Yeah, go ahead, Wayne.
So I had a half a page of questions here, but almost all of them have been asked. So I think we were all thinking the same things. The one thing I wanted to be clear on here was that you have a contract to sell 3 megawatts. You can produce 5. The other 2 cannot be sold on the open market. Is that?
Yeah, the market that Camptonville proposes to take advantage of was created by Senate Bill 1122 in 2012. It was originally had a max export of energy or even a max generator capacity of 3 megawatts. It was amended 3 or 4 years ago to allow for a 5 megawatt generator, but still limited the export of energy to 3 megawatts. So 3 megawatts can be sold under this, what I'm going to call an artificial market that's created by legislation. 3 megawatts can be exported on the grid, and that will go to PG&E and PG&E customers. The legislation requires PG&E to purchase that at the price that's created under this Senate bill. The additional 2 megawatts can be used on site for any other use, co-located businesses, charging electric vehicles, whatever electricity consumption they can think of through the free market.
Okay, and then, so there's an opportunity there for more benefit if we can find a market for the 2 megawatts. So based on the contract for the 3 megawatts, you're going to be able to service all of the debt, fund the operating budget, everything pencils out by just selling those 3 megawatts. And Your bank loan also a 20-year term?
Only 15 years.
15-year.
It's more expensive with the bank loan. Paid off earlier, or else we run into trouble.
Okay. So the opportunities, to improve profitability and all that are 15 to 20 years out, and hope, well, we all know the price of electricity will be higher then. I think we can be confident. Yeah.
The additional megawatts, we are planning to use the EV trucks instead of the diesel trucks to do the transportation of the logs.
Okay.
We are waiting just for the market of EV trucks to get more consistently. And then we're going to start the switch of the trucks, providing power for the contractors, cheap power. Even for example, even if you sell the power at $250, is the half of the cost of the diesel actually for the trucks.
Okay. So there's an opportunity right away.
Yes, we are talking about more than 2,000 trucks a year, Yeah. So this is going to be our second income stream line for the project, or the sawmill that it could be on possibility on site.
Okay.
And even for the 20 years fixed price PG&E, we have the return of the project.
I just want to, this is not directly related to your question, Director Bishop, but I'd like to bring this up because it's related to the 20-year power purchase agreement that I mentioned under SB 1122. So the Camptonville Community Partnership, when they execute the agreement, the power purchase agreement with PG&E, will have a 20-year commitment. And that'll be a 20-year commitment to provide 3 megawatts of energy to PG&E and for PG&E to purchase that 3 megawatts of energy at a fixed price for 20 years. However, anytime through the duration of the contract, Camptonville Community Partnership can choose to decrease the volume or the megawatt output of that agreement. They can't increase it. So they could reduce it from 3 to 2, 2 to 1, or from 3 to 0. Basically, they have control to extinguish or terminate that agreement at any point in the 20-year duration or term. The reason I bring that up is because Joao mentioned that we expect the just overall market for energy in California to continue to increase, especially due to the requirements of Senate Bill 100. Let's just call it the renewable requirements by various stages, but by 2045. We think that the market's going to increase overall. So at some point in time in this 20-year duration, the actual energy market is going to be greater than the market created by Senate Bill 1122. If that happens, Camptonville can choose to go down to 0 megawatts or terminate the agreement. At that point, they can sell 5 megawatts on the grid instead of being limited to 3. So I just wanted to be clear, there's a lot of flexibility here.
We have actually we have 155.
So I guess my hope would be that those things happen and it's very profitable and it incentivizes private investment for the next plant, or that would be ideal. The last couple of things I wanted to say, one is that I'm sure there are local contractors that would be interested in the work, and so hopefully they are aware and know about the opportunity to bid. And the last thing is just remarkable, the amount of support that you've gathered for this between government agencies and non-government organizations and private companies to get all those people to come in here. And no one apparently is opposed enough to this project to come in and talk to us today. That's just really remarkable to any kind of a project to have that much support from such a broad base, and nobody apparently opposes it. That's incredible.
Well, Kathy does have 2 or 3 hours invested in this.
Just what I was going to say, John. That's just what I was going to say. Thank you.
They've been working on it for 10 years plus, and just go-getters. It's just really remarkable to see a community
It's a little
in the
bit
hills.
premature, but congratulations.
Yeah. Huh. Well, we haven't opened it up for anybody else from the public wish to speak on this, or any other comments? Do I have a motion? Go ahead. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Motion passes.
Thank you. I didn't think this would bring tears to my eyes, but it did. Thank you all very, very much.
Yeah. Okay, with that, we're going to take a 5-minute break real quick before we get on.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Caring for elders or even yourself has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.
Smile for me. Yes, I heard this topic was wrong. That's what we're talking
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
next item is receive presentations from interns on projects completed during the 2024 summer intern program. Mandy.
Good morning. Today we're going to be hearing from 3 of our summer interns. Before I introduce them, we're going to watch a brief video.
Hands-on.
Inspirational.
Captivating.
Okay, and we're having, you guys hear it okay?
Not very well.
Yeah, hold on.
Hands-on.
All right, can someone else come up here and start it while I play with audio on my end?
Hands-on.
Inspirational.
Captivating.
Impactful. Innovative. Interesting. Dynamic.
Fascinating. Lively.
Very cute video that was shared on our social media through our communications team. Today, we're going to be hearing from Sam Stoner, our hydrologist intern. The next will be Leighton Tarkey, our general engineer intern. And finally, from Rex Miller, our community engagement and impact intern.
Rex Rollins.
Rollins, sorry.
It's named like that.
All right. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning.
My name is Sam Stoner, and I was the hydrologist intern for this summer. So I was a little background about me. I was born and raised in Marysville, out in District 10. I am currently a senior at Boise State University and pursuing a degree in geoscience with the hydrology emphasis and also a minor in GIS. Growing up in the area, I would regularly recreate at Bullard's Bar, and I was always intrigued by how much the water level would vary from year to year. So that kind of sparked my interest in hydrology and watershed management. So as a hydrologist intern at Yuba-Water, I mostly shadow and assist the hydrologists out in the field. And after we collect measurements, I can input and analyze the data that we collected. When I'm not doing that, I'm helping troubleshoot equipment, or since the hydrologists cover such a large area, I kind of help fill the gaps and do solo work if needed. Okay, so the hydrologists kind of work on a monthly schedule. The first week being the highest priority, which is our FERC week, which is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. These sites are very high priority as they are heavily regulated, and we must submit measurements every month. These sites are very beautiful and kind of upcountry, and they're hard to get to, but they're very fun to practice my measuring on. So our second week is the canal week. We monitor the flow of the canals that transport water to the customers. We help the dish centers better understand how much water is actually moving through the system, and we must monitor these canals too because of their diversions from the river. So they're also regulated, and we must submit measurements. And so here we can see in this picture, I am working with an ADCP, which is a small boat that has like a radar on it, and it calculates how much water is moving through the system via the water particles. Our third week is also relatively high in priority. The agency is very well off at protecting and enhancing its aquifer. We monitor the North Yuba subbasin and South Yuba subbasin, which is just north or south of the river. And it is important because, as you can see, I'm sure you guys have all seen this graph, in 1950, the aquifer was very healthy, and certainly over about 30 years, it dramatically declined. And in about 1980, we can see that the South Canal system had been, the infrastructure had been built, and we started using surface water to help complete the purchases of water. And we can see a steadily increase from about 1981. And it's just been the work of the hydrologists that monitor the system. Our fourth week is our boundary flow and tailwater week. We monitor the water volumes that are kind of leaving the system just to understand how much we delivered and how much was lost. This is also not our very high priority week, so it is a great time to catch up on other tasks from the previous weeks that weren't completed. And yeah, it's just a great time to troubleshoot equipment or fix it if it is not working properly. So this summer I had a lot of practice with our flow tracker, which is our measuring rod that we use when the water is shallow enough to walk across. And so it also, like the ADCP boat, it just kind of captures particles in the water that flow by, and that is how we gauge the flow that is moving through the system. The summer I was also lucky enough to be the first summer intern to go on a snow survey. This was very cool. I got to find a helicopter up to our sites up country and measure the snow depth and the SWE, which is the snow water equivalent, which calculates how much liquid water is actually in the snowpack. And we got to fly over Englebright and Bullards. It was very beautiful. And then in this third picture, I got to go just on some upcountry scouting trips. This specific one, we were scouting a repair for a water sensor and the conduit that was damaged. And then this last picture, I got to test the penstock and just make sure the flow was matching up with the control room. And it was just very insightful and awesome. All in all, I've had a great experience here at Yuba-Water. I learned a lot, got to have a lot of practice with the various instruments and equipment, and it's definitely reaffirmed my desire to pursue hydrology and watershed management. Thank you.
Any questions?
Just curious, was your father a Russ owner?
It's my grandpa. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Grandpa was Russ.
Used to do backhoe.
Yep.
Just a quick comment through the chair. I loved how you broke it out by week. So that was awesome to see what you did every week and the diversity of what you participated in. And also I loved all the pictures.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Layton Tarkey. I was the general engineer intern for Yuba-Water this summer. So a little bit of background about me. I am going into my junior year at Carnegie Mellon University in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I study mechanical engineering and play football. I am a sixth generation farmer in Sutter County, so family's been here for a long time, and I'm an avid hunter and fisherman. So I'm just going to kind of go through the different projects I did this summer. I worked with a variety of engineers. I had my mentor actually leave a couple weeks into my internship. So I got to work with a lot of different people on a lot of different tasks. If you have any questions about any of the particulars of my projects, just interrupt me and ask. So the first project that met my studies the most was the aux servo reverse engineer and redesign. So basically, it's one of the components that control the needle valves within Colgate 1 and 2. And so you can see that in the top left. That's the original casted metal version. And then I made some design improvements and changes to the program so that way it could be machined rather than casted. And I made a 3D model in SolidWorks. And after reverse engineering it, and then we got a 3D print of it to check the fit. And it fit all perfectly, so now they're ready to be machined and replaced within the units. This is a head loss model I created for the 50 feet of penstock entering the power plant. So I use my fluid mechanics knowledge and education to calculate the head loss, which is basically like the pressure loss within the pipe due to conditions within the pipe. So we assumed that it was a smooth pipe, just basically get the minimum amount of head loss that would be created. And I used the Moody diagram, and my calculations are there, and basically found a chart for the head loss for flows ranging from 0 to 3,400 CFS. Next, I coded a operator reads website so the operators go through the dams weekly and take readings on various weirs and pressure gauges. And currently they go through and write on a piece of paper their readings, then they put it in an Excel sheet. Then one of the engineers takes the Excel sheet and puts it into one of the databases. So basically there's no service within the dam. So they're going to still go through with their piece of paper, but then they're just going to be able to plug it into this website that will submit straight to the database. So there's not that middle gap where could be a lot of human error. Yeah, done. I created a Lake Francis spillway flow model. So this was through the open weirs on top of Lake Francis spillway. So we had a topographic survey done for the more accurate heights of the spillway, and using these, I calculated the flow at various heights of the reservoir using an Excel spreadsheet. The next, I took 360-degree photos of all the diversion dams and New Bullards Bar, and basically made a virtual tour for internal. So they had a Bullards Bar internal tour for them to basically, if they have any oh, I don't know where this pressure gauge is, they can just go through the tour and find it within the dam. And but those photos were taken a number of years ago, so they wanted me to go back through, retake them, and also make it for the diversion dams. So I compiled these within a software and made the virtual tour. And then in between all these major projects, we did a lot of red lines and digitization of drawings. And so this was basically going through and making any changes to the mechanical, civil, or electrical drawings that stuff has changed within the plant, and the different technicians make the changes on the drawings, and then we make the changes in AutoCAD. Finally, I learned a lot of project management skills. So I made different project management schedules for various projects. And I also created a list of 400 companies that the agency works with and what those companies do. So basically the engineering team can Control F and say, I want a geotech, and it will pull up all the companies that the agency works with that do geotech, as well as what those companies also do, so they can find what contractor fits best with the project. And I wrote a inspection report for the low-level outlet inspections. So when they had to lower the bulkhead on the front side of the dam, and so that they could dewater the outlet, I basically was out there the whole day taking notes on the timeline of everything, and then compiled the report for Matt D'Amico, who's our scheduler. And finally, just thank you for this opportunity, this internship. I learned so much through this internship. It was my first experience in the field. So getting to walk through a power plant and see a turbine and stuff like that, where it's you're just drawing it on a piece of paper in the classroom, was very interesting. The experience I've gained has been very valuable, and will definitely be able to use that forward in my career. Also, the connections, met many different engineers from many different backgrounds in many fields, and so that's been very useful. And it was very nice to be able to do this in my home community and have an opportunity like this in my own community. So thank you for that opportunity. Are there any questions?
Thank you. Are you going to come back here to work?
It's definitely an option. Would definitely like to come back to the area, but yeah, it would be definitely an option I would pursue in the future.
We're just opening a biomass plant. No.
So through the chair.
Yeah.
So, I know we mention this every year with respect to our interns, and I think this presentation is just a perfect example of really doing a good job highlighting it. Our interns at Yuba Water Agency, we don't hire them to get coffee, right? Not only do they learn amazing things while they're at Yuba Water, which is an important goal, but they do amazing things for our agency and for our operations. And there were so many things in this presentation that were operational improvements for the agency. And that's just amazing. And I love seeing that. So thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you. It's a wonderful presentation.
Rewind.
Well, good morning, Chairman Messick and Board. Thank you guys, first of all, for this opportunity that you guys gave me this summer. I got to learn from Jackie Silman all summer on what community impact and engagement truly is. It was truly a blessing, so thank you guys for that. A little background on me. I'm born and raised in Marysville, California. I'm a fifth generation, graduated from Marysville High School in 2020, where I then pursued a golf scholarship at Jessup University, and I'm studying business marketing and graduating in December of 2024. So that's a little background about me. The first thing that I did this summer with you guys was the water conservation kits, which you guys all have heard about because you guys approved it. But I delivered 1,500 water conservation kits throughout the 4 local water districts that we have in the area. 250 to North Yuba, 500 to Oliver's Public Utility District, 500 to Linda County Water District, and 250 to Wheatland. Thank you to the communications team and Katrina for helping me to get those out. You guys were amazing. So that was the first thing that I did. Right after that, I created a water conservation program for summer school students. This was probably the highlight of my summer, I'd say. I got to create a word search for kindergartners through 6th graders, and they're all specialized between the different age groups. I showed them the Yuba Water Agency Water Conservation Kit video that we have, and then I went into better details after that on what each component actually does, and I'd ask 2 questions at the end of my presentation, and if the kids got them right, they'd get the opportunity to then get a water conservation kit. And then we also did, for the people who finished the word searches, they got Yuba Water Agency swag, so they got that. It was very awesome to see. This was between 25 different classrooms. I reached about 500 total students. Edgewood had about 12 classes. Cedar Lane had 10 classes, and Browns Valley had 3 classes. There was a really, really cool story about this. Javier from Linda, he is one of the main guys over at Linda Water, and he said that he had 2 kids come over. Their parents didn't speak a lick of English, didn't know what the kids were really talking about, but they said that the kids came over and they were really intrigued on what these water conservation kits were, and they didn't get a chance to win one at the little presentation that I gave. So they brought their mom in. Their mom came in and talked to them about what the water conservation kits were, and they got to take water conservation kits home to their mom, so they got to be involved in that. So that was really cool for me to actually get to hear back from that. One of the crazy things about this is I had no clue what community impact engagement truly was when I got involved in this. I knew it had to do something with the community, and I know I love talking to people and being out in the community, and I love Marysville. But I think after this internship, I realized the need for community impact engagement and what it truly is, and the building of relationships with people and the trust that people have in Yuba Water Agency just through all the connections that we create out there. And it was really, really cool to actually understand what community impact engagement is and how it affects every single person in this community and how great of a job we do at Yuba Water Agency. So that was very cool for me to actually get to be involved in that and be somebody who's out there talking to people and building relationships with people and getting to represent you guys hopefully greatly. So it was my pleasure this summer to be able to do that. I attended many different activities. I went to Chambers of Commerce meetings, City Council meetings, Yuba Water Board meetings, obviously. You guys have probably all seen me around here. Local water district meetings, the Rotary Club, the Mountain Fair 5K that I'm getting to work closely with Chairman Messick on, and the Peach Festival and the intern tour. So I've had a great time this summer. There's been a lot of different things that I've got to dip my toes in and experience and see what's really going on in the community. And it's just been a very eye-opening experience. And I've been very grateful for you guys' time here. So with that being said, thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Now you know how difficult it is to reach the public.
Very, very difficult. So you guys have a great leader over there, Jackie, doing a great job. So Thank you guys for letting me work with her.
Make sure you get that cash, gotcha.
Exactly.
it was a great presentation, Rex, and I was gonna tell you, none of us really know what the community outreach person does either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I will say
we all need to intern with Jackie.
You all need to go spend a week with Jackie, and
Yeah.
you'll see how busy she actually is, because it's a lot going on. So,
So
I don't think
no.
you guys could. She goes.
Yeah, she's definitely a goer, and I appreciate Rex just jumped in when I opened my mouth and said, "Hey, let's have a 5K. I'll plan it." Well, I'm not very good at planning anything. Rex took it over, and he's been running with it and meeting with Mike Mayo and Kerry Paul that run the Mountain Fair, and just really took it and ran with it. So we'll see if he can keep up with me in the actual running of the race. But
you're gonna have to keep up.
But planning it all and doing it all, it's an excellent job.
Thank
and really everything you got involved with, just kind of, you didn't have to wait for somebody to ask you to get involved. You jumped in and volunteered to get involved. So,
well, thank you.
Thanks for that.
So through the chair, I think this is one of the first interns we've had that's been so involved with the local youth as part of what they did. So that's awesome. Thank you. It was evident of how passionate you were about that. And thanks for sharing all you learned about community engagement. And most of all, thank you for keeping Jackie in line over the summer and watching her. So
my pleasure.
You know, one thing I wanted to mention to you guys too, Rex and Jackie came to a North Yuba water meeting to hand out these water conservation kits. And it was one of the craziest meetings.
It was my first meeting I went to.
So he got broken in on water meetings with the crazy Bangor guy that shows up periodically and goes nuts. So it was kind of a shock, I think, to Rex and probably Jackie too.
Very confusing, because we had our meeting right before that, and I think we went to that one like the following week. I was like, oh, these meetings went a little differently.
Yeah. Anyone else have any comments?
Perfect.
Good.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Through the chair, I think we're down to just board and staff member reports and the general manager report. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I think Seth and I have to take off. We have an 11 o'clock
All right.
item. So anyway, thank you.
Thanks, you guys.
Nothing to report.
Managers report.
Well, I'll just report things are going well. What a great board meeting. You get the Hamptonville project finally in a situation where we can actually move it forward. And then again, seeing these interns is what a great program that is. And that doesn't happen without staff, finding them something to do that's meaningful. So I got to thank staff for that. Things are going well in our operations and maintenance overall. New Bullard's Bar is at 780,000 acre feet of capacity, in line to be down at 650,000 acre feet at end of September. Our current flows at Inglebright are about 2,200 CFS, and that will slowly decrease throughout the month of August and then into September. We had a planned maintenance or troubleshooting outage at Colgate Unit 2 a couple weeks ago. Did some work on some needle timing issues. I think we found the problem and resolved it in one day, which was great. It's great to see Kian, our new power system director, jump in on that and see how the group works when they're troubleshooting things, and then kind of get in their hands on and experience that. We also changed the brushes on that unit that day, so that went well. But overall, I mean, it's summertime, it's hot. I think we all know that. It's supposed to be hot the next few weeks. We are transitioning into a La Nina conditions. The temperatures in the Eastern Pacific are shifting from El Nino to La Nina. What that means, we will find out next year. Ask me on April 1st. We did have a development in the NOAA National Marine Fisheries Service BIOP of the Gear Point Dam. I'm going to go ahead and read you Adam's summary because it's fairly detailed. It's in your hard copy, but it's impactful, but also potentially beneficial if we can continue moving forward the Gear Point Dam settlement. So I'll just go ahead and read it. On July 30th, 2024, the National Marine Fisheries Service issued a biological opinion finding that the operations and maintenance of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Gear Point Dam jeopardizes several threatened and endangered species, including spring run Chinook salmon, steelhead, and southern resident killer whales. The biological opinion calls on the Corps to take steps to maximize the functionality of the existing fish ladders at DeGear Dam for salmon and steelhead passage. The biological opinion does not affect the operation and maintenance of the diversion facilities at DeGear Point Dam that are used to deliver irrigation water to the north and south member units or the Yuba River Development Project. In the press release announcing the biological opinion, NIMS referenced the joint agreement between Yuba Water, California Department of Fish and Wildlife, and NIMS, including the proposed new fishway at DeGear Point Dam, as a development that will help fulfill NIMS recovery plan for salmon, steelhead, and sturgeon. Yuba Water will continue to engage with the Army Corps, NIMS, and others regarding many issues related to DeGear Dam. So just wanted to bring that up directly and clearly with you all. The bottom line there is the biological opinion states that DeGear Dam and the operation of the fish ladders causes impacts to those species. But I think the punchline for Yuba Water is that the settlement and the nature-like fishway will improve those conditions. So we'll continue to move that forward.
Well, on the end of that, though, it didn't say that it would also improve the blue whale, the killer whale, whatever whales that's also endangered. Yeah. So it'll also improve the habitat for the.
Improving the conditions for the spring run would improve the conditions for the killer whale.
So what you're saying is this project we're building is going to save the whales.
One could conclude.
Okay.
Chairman, you're quick on the uptake.
Is that also one of our hurdles that we were holding our license?
This biological opinion is not a condition of getting our license, no.
What I thought some biological.
We will have to have a biological opinion for the Yuba River Development Project relicensing effort. There will be a biological opinion drafted by NIMS for our relicensing. This is separate.
That's separate.
Correct.
When, any timeline on that?
No, not at this point. That's FERC dictates that timeline. Okay, on communications, the Appeal Democrat fronted a story about today's meeting and the vote on the biomass plant grant and loan. That story was also picked up by Energy Central, an online magazine for the utility industry. Yubanet, the Territorial Dispatch, and the Appeal Democrat picked up our press release about the Bill Shaw grants awarded during our last meeting. Yubanet also covered Circle's Upper Rose Bar Habitat Project and mentioned our involvement as the landowner. The Appeal included a shout out to us in their coverage of Wheatland wastewater agreements with OPUD. We had 4 interns and our HR manager, Teresa, on 93Q on the 25th in honor of National Intern Day. And yes, there is such thing as National Intern Day. They did a great job representing and talking about the cool things they've been doing or able to do during their internships. Caitlin Chow represented us on the Water Education Foundation's Headwaters Tour for their stop at Bullards, sharing about our watershed health efforts, forecast-informed reservoir operations, and the ARC Spillway. Our upcoming sponsorships include the Plumas Lake Block Party on August 17th, where we will have a booth engaging the public. We are also sponsoring the Beale Military Liaison Council's golf tournament on August 23rd, the Mountain Fair on the 18th, and the Center Stage Productions youth performances. Our next board meeting is on August 20th. That's it.
Thank you. Wayne? Charlie?
Nothing to report.
Andy?
My mic doesn't work.
There you go.
But anyhow, the 29th, we went to the Beale and the 54th Intelligence Surveillance. Yeah, I didn't quite realize how many screens are involved in computer servers just to watch out over the. Actually, they didn't have anything going there. They could have showed us, but then they'd have to kill us. But it was quite an eye-opening experience. You get a chance to see what actually happens out at Beale. It's phenomenal. So that's it.
Don?
Not a lot. Next week, we start a marathon 2-day budget workshop at the county. And I just want to acknowledge again the extreme importance of the water agency working with the county. That's it.
Okay, well, my only thing I have to report on has been said and resaid today is the Mountain Fair 5K run that Yuba Water Agency is sponsoring, and Rex has taken the lead on it. And I'm challenging everybody to run with myself and Willie and Rex in the 5K.
Wants to be able to hide. I've been, the pressure was on me at first, and I've turned the tables and put the pressure back on Chairman Messick here. So I think he wants more people there so he can hide and crowd and sneak away. And
That's right.
It's just a 5K.
Yeah, it's a run walk too, so you can just come and walk. Gary signed up to walk, so hopefully I'll be able to run the course and not get pulled away to do some task that needs to be done. Rex is saying nope, he's making me run it. Yeah. So, and the Mountain Fair is that weekend. That's the 17th and 18th in Brownsville. With the water agency also advertises at the Mountain Fair itself. So encourage you all to come up the hill and see that. With that said, that's the last of the reports. We're going to do our adjournment. Many of you probably know Director Matthews lost his son Robert last week unexpectedly, and I happen to know Robert very well. Robert was probably one of the kindest people I know. I had the opportunity to race cars against him out at our local raceway one year, and Robert was one of the few drivers, and Willie can go with this. Those stock car drivers always want to fight afterwards. Robert would always come over and, hey, sorry I bumped you, or can I help you? And he was probably the kindest person that I'd ever known. So I want to adjourn this meeting in memory of Robert Matthews.
Yuba-Sutter.live's local government live streams are presented by Plumas Lake Self-Storage in Plumas Lake, where lifelong local residents are helping other residents keep things safe, providing indoor storage units, outdoor RV and vehicle parking, moving supplies, and Penske truck rentals. Details at plumaslakeselfstorage.com.
Hi, I'm Neil Goforth of Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties. Caring for elders or even yourself has challenges. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties can help you address today's issues and plan for tomorrow with in-home and specialized care for you or your family members. Call us at 530-749-8800. Comfort Keepers of Yuba, Sutter, and Nevada counties.